We will now begin the Copyright Office's 7th Copyright Modernization webinar. During the program, attendees may submit questions using the Q&A panel on the right side of the WebEx screen. You might have to expand the panel by clicking on the arrow next to where the label Q&A appears. First, please welcome the Acting Register of Copyrights, Maria Strong.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your continuing interest in the ongoing modernization of the Copyright Office. Today, we will be talking about some of the internal work on modernization, that involving business intelligence. Business intelligence is an enhancement that allows us to see, manipulate, and exploit the data that is being generated by a system or systems. For example, in addition to using products like Excel or Access to produce reports, BI solutions can consolidate and reflect data from one or multiple systems in the form we choose. One way this could show up is in the form of dashboards. Imagine one day our staff could have, in almost real time, data showing the numbers of copyright registrations with correspondence that are in process, or the time it took between application submission and the first keystroke of the examiner, or the average cost per minute of processing. With this kind of information, we in the Copyright Office have more ways to better inform our work and in turn provide improved services to the public. To continue today's conversation about BI, let me introduce the Director of the Copyright Modernization Office, Ricardo Ferraz-Bellu.
Thank you, Maria. Before we begin explaining business intelligence and showing how we are using it internally here at the office, I'd like to provide a brief update on our modernization efforts. We plan to achieve several milestones this year and have other modernization projects and initiatives on the horizon. As we mentioned in the past webinar, we are working on the numbers of activities across several components of the Enterprise Copyright System, or ECS. We have been very busy and already achieving results. First, I am excited to share that in the early spring, we anticipate a limited availability pilot release of the modernized recordation system. This will initially be available to a small number of public users, and it is a huge step in turning the current paper-based system into a digital one. Second, by the end of 2020, we expect to release a proof of concept of the copyright public records system to allow users to review a new user interface to the system. Third, we expect to make available for public feedback a limited prototype for at least one type of copyright registration application. And finally, later this year, we also intend to kick off development activities for a modernized licensing workflow. Under the centralized IT structure, the Copyright Office provides the business expertise, and the Library Office of the Chief Information Officer provides the software development to deliver the technical solution. As we discussed in the December webinar, we are also focusing on the non-IT aspects of office modernization: people, process, and organization. Our business process reengineering sessions are looking to our current processes and identifying possible improvements. We are passing the halfway point, having completed sessions with more than half of our office divisions. On the people side of things, we are engaged in efforts to learn and build our internal capabilities to adapt to change by using organization change management techniques. And if you're about to learn, the office is working to create business intelligence and data analytics dashboards to help us internally use information and data, which in turn will provide better information for us to make database decisions to serve the public.
Thank you, Ricardo. At this time, we would like to introduce Jason Hosford, Data Manager with the Copyright Modernization Office. Jason.
Thank you, Ananda. Like any large organization, the Copyright Office has a vast amount of data that is complex and often lives in different systems. Each division and section generates data relevant to their roles and responsibilities, often storing it in places best suited to their needs. While data is created and stored in these different systems, it has the potential for cross-sectional value. Business intelligence promotes sharing of data within the Copyright Office by aggregating that data. Then divisions within the Copyright Office can analyze sets of data they may not have been previously aware of and which are relevant to their specific responsibilities. Business intelligence allows the Copyright Office to create and share reports more efficiently. Some reports that took hours to create can now be created in a matter of minutes. Different divisions may also be creating similar reports from their individual data sets. By aggregating the data sets into the business intelligence and properly managing the data integrity, these reports can be generated once, rather than multiple times in different sections and divisions. Business intelligence provides for a greater understanding of the services the Copyright Office provides the public, including visualizations of the office's data through a variety of interactive infographics which provide a digestible picture of large amounts of data. Insights can range from reviewing a business process for increasing efficiency to tailoring outreach efforts to be more effective for specific audiences. The discoveries are only limited by the available data, and the Copyright Office has plenty to mine. You'll be hearing more examples shortly.
Thank you, Jason. Now we'd like to go to the head of the data management section, Suman Shukla.
Thank you, Ananda. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me at this webinar. Today, I will talk about business intelligence. Why do we need to use it, and how are we implementing BI tool at Copyright Office? So, what is business intelligence? Business intelligence is a technology-driven process to collect, curate, and disseminate business information for making fact-based decision-making. It provides the access to the information to improve the data literacy. We understand our data, what it means, what story it can tell, and how can we use that data to help in performance management and streamlining the operations. So why do we need to collect and analyze or even understand our data? Here's why. Let me start with some common management questions that we often see every day. We hear, just show me what is important. We need to know what's happening in the office. Why are two people presenting same information with different numbers and different metrics? Why isn't there a common theme across the board? We have tons of data. What can we do with that? How do we make those fact-based decision making? These are very common management issues, are the questions which sounds very familiar. And if it sounds familiar to you, you are at the right party. We are going to party with data today. So to answer those questions, how do we use the business intelligence tools? What do we do with this business intelligence to help us navigate through those kind of issues or management questions, and how does it help our business? What business intelligence does it answers your questions. You need answers to some of the questions that can help your business, that can bring insights, that can help with your predictive analytics, or even predict how you want to do your business. So it helps those questions to answer them using some reports, visualizations, or analytics. Once you get those visuals or reports, you want to know why certain things are happening in certain way. So you want to drill down those information, look deeper into those data sets, and look at what are the roadblocks, what are the holdups, why are certain issues happening, and how you can address that. So you use that information to address those problems, identify those areas. For example, improving performance by reducing the cycle time of your process or the processing time, or the workload distribution, not because you need to distribute the work, because maybe some problems are complex and needs multiple people to handle those processes. So business intelligence helps us through all these processes. After knowing that how important business intelligence is for us, I would like to talk about what we are doing at Copyright Office using business intelligence, and how are we implementing it here. So the office here needs some kind of an enterprise business intelligence solution which has analytics capabilities, so we can use it for the data-driven and fact-based decisions to support the ongoing modernization activities, as well as delivering reporting services of the events, occurrences, and activities that can help improve copyright business and customer satisfaction. So to accomplish this kind of a mission, to have a data to make a fact-based decision making, we are implementing business tool at Copyright Office, which will create BI capabilities for analytics, visualization, ad hoc reporting, and also dashboards. And definitely, we need to train our employees and the people working here to use this tool and make the best benefit out of it. Like Maria said in the beginning, this tool will help connecting data from various systems within Copyright Office and provide important business insights. I will explain more with examples with my upcoming slides. We will also train the employees, implement this solution, and use it for the best benefit. So just to follow up with what we are doing and how we are going to use this business intelligence tool and how we'll use these data for our benefit, this slide shows the registration information on one page that brings up multiple facets of how we can drill down information about a registration process. This includes number of registrations by work type, a number of copyrights registered, so registration over time, has deposits been received? If it has been received, for how many types of work, how many copyrights have been registered. So this gives us an overview of registration information. But if we want to drill down, if we click on one of those images, we can drill down more information. For example, in the slide, you can see if we click on the serial works, registration work type is serial, and we click on that, we see dynamically on the tool the graphic changes for every matrix. So here it shows for the serial type, number of copyrights registered were 311, and there were fees received and the registration over period of time. Just to let the viewers see that this is a test data. This is not the actual data. This is a test data to show how the visualization or how the data can be used for our benefit. This is again a follow-up of how we can drill down the information for the registration process. So if we drill down on has the fees been received, it changes the dynamic of the entire visualization. It shows for all the types of work we have registered, if the fees has been received, so what is the amount, how many copyrights registration has been done for which we have received the fees over the period of time. Just like a registration, we have information about fees that we collect for registration processes or recordation or for copyright as a whole. This is more for the value-driven decision making. The revenue generation is important, and we can look at various aspects of how much fees has been received over a period of time for which category of work, and we can also pinpoint to the locations on the map to the extent of a zip code locations, and we can see from which zip code how much money has been received for which category of work. That this gives us an overall perspective of the customer behavior, the frequency, and the nature of work being registered from which part of or which location. This helps us understand the how we can address the customer's need and make the user experience much better. So again, just like we talked about the registration slides, we can click on various aspects of this visualization. We can click on if you want to see the reverse, from which location, how much fees is received, we click on the map, and here we see, since we have a limited test data, we click on North America, and we see how much fees has been received for what category of work over which period of time. So this gives you a kind of holistic idea of location and type of work and total fees received over a period of time. Similarly, if we want to do management at our employee level or the work assignment level, this is not more for a micromanagement purposes. This is more about making employee workload easier and making the whole process efficient so we can cater to the customer need. What this visualization is talking about is we can pinpoint how many registrations has been handled by which employee or a team or a group of people, and what kind of correspondence they are handling. So this gives an overall picture of the work being done at employee level and the team level. Again, we can drill down these information and we can see how many correspondence has happened for certain specific registrations that has been handled. This gives us a benefit of understanding our customer, what kind of correspondence they are doing, where is the holdup, if the correspondence is pending for a specific type of work, if the correspondence is being done using a phone or a mail or email, and what's the purpose of this correspondence? Was there a missing information? Is there information that Copyright Office is requesting? These kind of information we can figure out so we can address it quickly. So it gives us a very quick, active decision-making capability so we can address customers' need here. This is again a similar drill down information of how we can use the data to better serve the public and also streamline our process. Here we click on correspondence method. So for example, we know people reach out using phone, mail, email. We can look at the proportion of customers reaching out using email or phone or mail. This gives an idea of customer behavior, or which is a more efficient way of working with the customers, or which is the more popular method, and we can make it more efficient and more useful to reach out and get information with them. So it gives you a corresponding data about how much correspondence is pending and what is missing here. Is there an invalid address? Is there incorrect information? Is there a missing fees or a missing document? And how the correspondence was handled and where the holdup was. So we can identify those missing information and holdups and address them quickly. And in that way, we are serving the stakeholders in right amount of time, and they can make right decisions. So this is, again, a critical part of getting important business insights. It helps us resolve the solutions. It helps us resolve the solutions. So if we see at how long it takes for the Copyright Office to resolve any issue regarding the correspondence purposes or any information that's missing, these kind of insights help us to drill down that information and understand what is missing and how to address these. So again, when we drill down about the correspondence data, here we see the correspondence purpose was invalid address, and it took 52.8 days to resolve. This changes for this invalid address, what was the awaiting action, and how much time it took to resolve this operation. What it does, it tells us what we need to improve, what are the missing parts, and what we need to improve, and how we can make the process more efficient. This is again about the correspondence, how we can drill down at various different data sets, different information sections, and technically pinpoint the holdups. Here we click on action awaiting, which means we see whether the information is being is requested by Copyright Office. Are we waiting information from the customer, or is there a holdup at the Copyright Office itself? They are doing some kind of a processing. We can look into those areas and help understand and also let the customer know what's happening in the process. So it creates a full transparency and also help us resolve those issues in timely manner. So like I said, we can use these business intelligence tools to provide valuable business insights that can give us an understanding what is working and what's not working and what needs improvement. It gives us a fast and accurate reporting, so business gets quickly to act in real time to find out what are the issues that they need to address and quickly address them and reach out to the customer. It makes it more user-friendly and customer-friendly. It also help in increasing the revenue, since we know we are able to find out how many registrations are being done over a period of time, what fees has been collected from which area. Sometimes there is an issue that needs to be resolved that helps the BI gives those understanding of those questions by comparing these information statistically. And the most important part is customers are valued partners. They're not just vendors. They are valued partners, and we need to listen to what their needs are. We need to understand their behavior in terms of what is best that works for them, what kind of information they are looking, and what is their recentness, their frequency or correspondence method, so we can better serve them. So business intelligence empowers us with the knowledge of what our data is, how we can use it best for copyright purposes, as well as serving the customer's need. It gives us a very important business insight. And thank you for being here with me. Now I'll head back to Ananda.
Before we start the Q&A portion of the program, we would like to conduct a short poll. You'll see it on the right side of the WebEx screen. Please let us know how many people you have watching this webinar from your location. 1 person, 2 to 4 people, 5 to 7, 8 to 10, or more than 10. We will give you a few minutes to respond. We will now begin the question and answer portion of the program. Attendees can submit questions using the Q&A panel on the right side of the WebEx screen. You might have to expand the panel by clicking on the arrow next to where the label Q&A appears. First question is for Ricardo. Could you please repeat the accomplishments from the very beginning, because they were read very quickly?
Sorry, my apologies. So, in early spring, we anticipate a limited availability pilot release of the modernized recordation system. By the end of 2020, we expect a release of a proof of concept for the copyright public records system. Third, we expect at least one type. We're going to have a limited prototype for at least one type of copyright registration available coming soon. And finally, we are the kickoff for development activities for a modernized licensing workflow.
Next question. What is the proof of concept that will be released by the end of 2020? Is that for an updated registration system?
So the proof of concept will be for the, it's a limited prototype for a copyright registration application. That is the one by the end of 2020. And it's only for, we are only getting feedback for the people that we are actually, when this goes live and goes in a proof of concept mode, we are just going to receive feedback just so we can improve the product as we develop it.
Next question. Will there be a possible API that can connect to the back end of mobile application or website? Suman?
So as we say, this is a copyright modernization, and any modern technology is always platform agnostic. So we will always have an option. Whether we implement or not, or whether it will happen or not, is yet to be decided, but it's a platform agnostic solution, so it will have an option.
Next question. What BI tool are you using? Suman?
So there are lots of very good business intelligence tools in the market. We picked based on the assessment we did internally that best suits our requirement at Copyright Office, that can handle data from multiple sources, from multiple systems, can handle complex transformations, and provide very good visualization.
Next question. What were the selection criteria for the tool?
Again, it's similar to how we picked the BI tool. We did the assessment of what kind of data sets we have, what kind of mapping, and what kind of data integration and reports we need. So what questions we need to answer. Based on that, we looked at the capability of the tool that can connect multiple data sources, that can provide visualizations with multiple levels of granularity and can do analytics and have the reporting capabilities. So the tool we picked is really fits the needs that we need here for a copyright office.
Next question, will the BI reports be made available to the public?
That decision has yet to be made internally. For now, it's published for the internal purposes for the business insight. So if it's ever published publicly, we'll let you know.
Will the public be able to use the BI tool?
So the business intelligence tool is only for internal copyright use. It will not be available to the public as of now.
Next question, when will the Copyright Office start producing BI reports?
So currently we are implementing the tool, and along with that, we are also developing some dashboards and reports. So we should be able to develop some internal reports probably by the end of this fiscal year. And this is an ongoing process, so there will be a multiple iterations of dashboards and reporting capabilities that would be built and published.
How will the tool help copyright users?
So like I explained in some of those visualizations about registration correspondence and other dashboards and reporting capabilities that we will be able to implement, this tool will help us with valuable business insights and help us understand our data and how can we use it for better customer service. It will also help us analyze our customers' behavior, their needs, and how we can make things customer friendly and cater to their needs. So it will definitely help us improve our internal processing as well as providing a better service to the customer so they can get the information in time, accurately, and have a better decision making.
Thank you, Suman. That will conclude today's webinar. When you sign out of the session, we encourage you to take part in a brief survey regarding your experience. We use this to improve our webinar program, so your feedback is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your participation today, and please join us for the next one.